What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com.
Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 10 sleeper picks.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button
And hit that bell icon
so you don't miss our new videos.
In this video, I'm going to give you some of my top DFS sleeper picks, super low priced and low ownership players that could crush value this week and give your lineup an advantage over the field. These are risky plays, meant for large tournaments only. Don't go all in on any of these guys. They are high risk, high reward picks. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made. Oh, and good news, guys. Make sure to stay tuned to the very end of this video because we removed the box that was popping up and blocking the lineup. So now you can see a full lineup using these picks that we made in this video if you stay to the very end. Okay, guys, NFL Week 10. Let's take a look at the quarterback position. My sleeper pick at the quarterback position is Kirk Cousins from the Minnesota Vikings playing the LA Chargers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. And although they've been pretty good versus opposing quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins has averaged 21.3 fantasy points per game on the season. He's getting an average of 1.5 rush attempts per game. He's only going to be about 3% owned, projected at 18.3 fantasy points here in Week 10. And he's 6,100 DraftKings salary, 1,500 more on FanDuel. And Vegas thinks there's going to be 53.5 points scored in this game, with the Vikings trailing by 3.5. So you got a high-scoring game and what could be a passing game script for Kirk Cousins, who has scored 22, 13, and 32 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's been playing well this year. He's got some great pass catchers. So in this high-scoring game, it could turn into a shootout. So I like Kirk Cousins here versus the LA Chargers. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. One of my sleeper picks at the running back position is Melvin Gordon from the Denver Broncos playing the Philadelphia Eagles, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, and they give up the 5th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Melvin Gordon has averaged 13.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 12.1 rush attempts per game and 2.7 pass targets per game. He's only going to be about 4% owned, projected at 12.4 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's 5,300 DraftKings salary, 1,000 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45.5 points scored in this game, with the Broncos favored by 2. So you got a good running back matchup here, and I like this pick because Melvin Gordon scored 18 fantasy points last week off of 21 rush attempts and 3 pass targets. So if he can get 20 plus touches in this game, he should be able to crush value at low ownership at a low price tag. So I like Melvin Gordon here versus the Philadelphia Eagles.
Before I continue with the picks, I'm excited today because we added a new contest for everyone watching.
If you want to enter the drawing for $25 PayPal,
all you need to do is like this video, hit that subscribe button, and make a quick comment below to be entered into the drawing. We'll reply to a random comment and let you know that you won.
And we'll send you $25 PayPal.
So it's that easy, and we pick a new winner every Saturday and announce them in our video. So get your comment in now so I can add another entry for you.
Another sleeper pick is Devin Singletary from the Buffalo Bills playing the New York Jets, who have the worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Devin Singletary has averaged 8.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 9.1 rush attempts per game and 3.4 pass targets per game. Now, he's going to be about 5% owned, projected at 9.6 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's 4,700 DraftKings salary, 1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 47.5 points scored in this game, with the Bills favored by 12.5. So you got a fantastic matchup here and a running game script. The Buffalo Bills should be able to take the lead in this game, and Devin Singletary should get plenty of touches. Hopefully he can get close to 15 to 20 touches in this game. He scored 13 fantasy points last week off of 6 rush attempts and 8 pass targets. So you're going to get a mix of rush attempts and pass targets. I think he's going to get plenty of work in this one. So I like Devin Singletary here versus the New York Jets. Okay, now this is not a sleeper pick, but just don't forget about D'Ernest Johnson from the Cleveland Browns playing the New England Patriots. D'Ernest Johnson is going to be pretty much the sole healthy running back for the Cleveland Browns. He's only 4,700 DraftKings salary, 700 more on FanDuel. Now, he is going to be about 28% owned, so he's going to be a chalk play, not a sleeper pick, but I just don't want you to forget about this guy. I think he's going to be the key to the winning lineup here this week. At only 4,700, he's probably going to get 20 plus touches in this one, so I like D'Ernest Johnson here versus the New England Patriots. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. One of my sleeper picks at the wide receiver position is T.Y. Hilton from the Indianapolis Colts playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have the 10th worst defense overall. They give up the 9th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. T.Y. Hilton has averaged 7.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.5 pass targets per game. Now, he's been on the field for 100% of the snaps when he's been healthy. He's been out there, and he's only going to be about 1% owned, projected at 10.1 fantasy points here in Week 10. He's 4,700 DraftKings salary, 1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 47.5 points scored in this game, with the Colts favored by 10.5. So he's got a great matchup this week. If you take a look at our cornerback wide receiver matchups, which is linked from the news in the draft dashboard right when you log in, you can see that T.Y. Hilton is going to be matched up with Tyson Campbell, who's been giving up 0.45 fantasy points per route run against. So T.Y. Hilton has a fantastic cornerback matchup here this week at only 1% ownership, or right around 1% ownership, at only 4,700 DraftKings salary. It's a great matchup. So I like T.Y. Hilton here versus the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Okay, now this is a deep sleeper pick, but I just got a gut feeling about this play. So one of my deep sleeper picks at the wide receiver position is Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers playing the Arizona Cardinals, who have a good defense overall. They give up the 12th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers, and Robbie Anderson, he's averaged only 5.8 fantasy points per game on the season, but he is getting an average of 5.9 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 82% of the snaps. He's only going to be about 1% owned, projected at 7.2 fantasy points here in Week 10.
He's 4,400 DraftKings salary, 800 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 43.5 points scored in this game, with the Panthers trailing by 9.5. So I like this play here because Robbie Anderson also has a great cornerback matchup. He's going to be matched up with Marco Wilson, who's giving up 0.41 fantasy points per route run against. So he hasn't really done well at all this season, but I do think he has big play potential, getting an average of 6 targets per game. He's just bound to break out in one of these games, and I think that game's going to come here because this game should be a passing game script for the Carolina Panthers. So I like Robbie Anderson as a deep sleeper pick here versus the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. One of my sleeper picks at the tight end position is Hunter Henry from the New England Patriots playing the Cleveland Browns, who have a good defense overall. They've been middle of the pack defending opposing tight ends. Hunter Henry has averaged 9.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.2 pass targets per game. He's on the field for 70% of the snaps, only going to be about 1% owned, projected at 9.2 fantasy points here in week 10. He's 4,100 DraftKings salary, 1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 45 points scored in this game, with the Patriots favored by 2.5. So Hunter Henry, he's averaging close to 10 fantasy points a game, getting 4.2 pass targets per game. He's been super productive off of a low volume, so I think that he makes a good sleeper pick this week. So I like Hunter Henry here versus the Cleveland Browns. Okay, another sleeper pick at the tight end position is Zach Ertz from the Arizona Cardinals playing the Carolina Panthers, who have a good defense overall. They've been middle of the pack defending opposing tight ends. Zach Ertz has averaged 8.8 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 5 pass targets per game. He's only going to be about 1% owned, projected at 10.2 fantasy points here in week 10. He's 4,600 DraftKings salary, 600 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 43.5 points scored in this game, with the Cardinals favored by 9.5. Now, Zach Ertz has been playing pretty well since going to the Cardinals. He had that 16-point fantasy game off of 5 pass targets, and since then has scored 8 and 6 fantasy points off of 4 and 5 pass targets. So the volume is there. He's getting the pass targets. If he can find the end zone, I think he can hit value. So I like Zach Ertz here versus the Carolina Panthers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smickety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.